All right, good morning. It's Monday, brand new week, and it's going to be a good one. Weather's good today, and excited about that. And doing a podcast this afternoon, dealing with a couple of things, faith and family, and looking forward to that with my buddy Andy Jenkins. And so, going to be a good day. And I don't know what's going on in your world, but I'm looking forward to this day. Going to come home, hang out with the Tamster, do a little learning and some new ministry and business that we're in, and so it's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna head to the Stone Company and get things in order there for those guys, and rock on. Listen, we got a lot to talk about today in this story. We can come at it in so many different angles, and so we may end up taking 2 days with this. But right now, I just want to kind of tell you the story, and so I'm going to give you the setting. We're in Mark chapter 5. We're going to look at 20 verses. You can look at those. I'm going to kind of tell that story today. But Jesus has spent the day before all doing ministry, just filled with ministry, right? And so he's told them some parables and was in the boat teaching the people. Then the group kind of got in the boat with him, the smaller crowd, and he began to speak to them. Then he said, let's put out to the other side. And so they leave that afternoon, that evening, on a little flotilla, because it says there were other boats with them. Sometimes we tell that story of Jesus calming the sea, and we think, oh, it was just him and a few guys in a boat. No, it was a little flotilla. Could have been upwards of 120 people. Could have been as few as 20. So we're looking at that kind of a crowd. But anyway, some little flotilla boats come along. Storm comes, a gale. That's a hurricane. It's like just going crazy. They're freaked out. Jesus is already asleep on the cushion in the back of the boat. And that's when he calms the sea. Says, hush, right? Just the power, the sheer power of God to command the creation to bow at him. And so it frightened the apostles, and they're in sheer terror of God now. It's like, I'm like, you've seen all these other things, but apparently this had created such turmoil in their life. They thought they were dying here. At other places, they've just seen him heal people, and they've seen his confrontation with rulers, and they've seen the demoniac and the leper. They've seen those things, and they watched him turn water into wine, and they're like, wow. But all of a sudden, they find themselves in dire straits. And he bails them immediately. And now they're in great fear of him. Who is this? They're asking. Well, he's been saying who he was the whole time. So the flotilla goes along. They get to the eastern shore, so they've sailed from where they were over to a little place called the Gerasenes. It's a little city called Gera, and there's one called Gadara there. So sometimes it's called the Gadarenes, and sometimes it's called Gazarenes. But it's kind of a region. It's a Gentile region, and so there's not a lot of the Jewish issue. They assume they're going just to get some rest. Jesus, however, is on a mission. He's going after he's always going to leave the 99 to go after the one kind of thing. And so Jesus is on a mission, but they're clueless. They think they're just going over to rest like they've done before, who knows how many times. So they land on this little shoreline of the eastern side of the Sea of Galilee, and it's a steep hillside, and in that hillside, they have carved out what we would call tombs. They've just dug out places where they could place the dead, and so there's this burial ground there, and that was common in some of these areas. And so they land on the seashore, and so they're in this farm country, and there's that burial place. Now, as the flotilla lands on its shores, where they believe, like they say, they're going to have some rest, a crazed man comes running out of these tombs. Now, Matthew says there were actually two of them that come out. We are only told by Mark and Luke of one of them. I don't know what happened to the other, but Matthew says there were two. But anyway, our story, Mark, centers on the one man, as do they all, really, after Matthew tells us that there were a couple of guys. So this crazy man comes out. He's butt naked. He's got shackles, chains hanging off of his body, multiple of those, because it says that he has been bound by these chains multiple times. They had bounded him, but he's ripped them off, and he's screaming like a wild man. Mark says that like I say, he had often been in those chains, and he's constantly crying out day and night. So he's screaming from this mountain place night and day. I don't know if they could hear him when they first got there, or if the fact that it was calm early morning, whatever it was. This is his standard operating procedure. He would yell, scream, cry out. He cut himself with stones that they would use for cutting different things. And so he's either trying to end his life, or he's cutting, he's a cutter or whatever it is. He's a crazy man, so much so that the people couldn't even pass by the road. No one went that way, really. I mean, not in that area. They just were trying to be careful there. Now, that Matthew says that no one could pass by the road. He begins to run down the hillside and is intent on wreaking havoc, no doubt. I mean, he sees fresh blood. He's gonna go crazy. He sees Jesus, drops to his knees, falls on his knees. In fact, the word there in the Greek has the idea of worship, and he screams out, "What do I have to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High?" Now, they thought they were freaked out in the boat with the storm. They have now just seen the craziest person the entire region has ever seen, up close and personal, running down this hillside, butt naked, shackles hanging off of him, cut and bleeding, screaming at the top of his lungs, sees it's Jesus and drops to his knees. Now, I love that passage and what takes place, because whatever we think about the demon realm, and we should have great respect, not for them, but for their power. When I hear people talk about, I'm going to stomp on the devil and all that, you're being crazy. Michael the archangel said, I'm not even going to revile that. I'm going to say, the Lord rebuke you. We're not dragon slayers. We stand firm in the armor that God has given to us. So this idea and this foolishness that, we treat him like he's a cartoon character is a myth. Satan is alive and well, and he wreaks havoc and destruction. And so let's be mindful of that. This demon, demoniac rather, bows down before the King of Kings, says, I know who you are, you Son of God. What are you doing here? And then I'm reminded, and it's a strange thought. One day, every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that he is Lord. We always assume that's the humanity of this planet, but it's also the spiritual realm of this place also bows the knee and cries out. And so they've already done that here. And they say, man, have you come to torment us? Have you come to... Here's what they're scared of. They're scared of going to the abyss. Now, if you go to Genesis chapter 6, you're going to read about how God took some demons and cast them into the abyss. It's like the entryway to hell. I don't know any better way to describe it. But no demon wanted to go there and be bound there. They know their time is up, but they don't think it's yet. And this is what's confusing to them as we read through this story. They said, if you come to torment us, our time isn't yet. Please don't torment. This isn't right. Now, here's the thing that strikes me when I read that. They know good theology, right? I mean, they know the truth. They know that they knew he was coming because Isaiah, they understood the scriptures. If they didn't, Satan did and explained it to them. That's why they tried to kill him in the manger. Now they're trying to destroy him here and get him off the planet. But they know somehow there's going to come a time when he's coming in judgment. They know all of this. They're going, wait, this isn't the time yet. You're going to be coming. You're going to be coming from heaven, and this is not it. Why are you coming now before our time? They're freaked out. So this is what's going on. Now, they are a defeated army, you understand, right? So Jesus has been already commanding them to come out of him, and now, they know God's going to judge them, right? They know all of this has happened. So they are defeated foe, but they spin lies, right? They know the truth. This is what I guess it strikes me. They know the truth. They know the timeline of God, the coming, the second coming. They know about the abyss. They know all of these things, yet they still propagate lies to all of humanity. Their goal is destruction of the human race. That's their goal. They can't get to God. They just want to destroy us. And so that's their deal. Now, Jesus has commanded them to come out of the man. And he says, so what's your name? And he says, Legion, for we are many. Now, here's this man. And how long he's been in this condition, I don't know. But here's a man in sheer bondage and terror. This is the sad effect of what happens in the demonic realm. Listen, most demons that wreak havoc, they're doing so in the church. You see these pop up here and there, right? These crazy maniacs that do things, and we try to say that they're mentally ill. I'm not convinced of that. I think there's less mental illness and a lot more demonic oppression that's going on. But here they are, and here he is, not just with one demon, not just with a few, with legion. That is an army unit of about 6,000 people. Now, whether they meant that in the exaggerated sense, and there's only 2,000, which is what it looks like as we go further in the story, but there are at most 6,000 demons in this man. At the very least, 2,000, wrecking havoc. This is in the Gentile territory, and this is what's going on. You think they're trying to intimidate Jesus here? Acting like, hey, there's 6,000 of us when there's only 2? Do you think it matters whether there's 6,000, 60,000, 600,000, or 6 to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? They know there's not. They know this is their moment. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. So here kneels a man, filled and subdued as a slave to the devil. Now, that's a terrifying picture. Here's the reality. We're all born in bondage to this sin, at the mercy and will of Satan to do with us as he pleases. We are dead men walking, and he desires to destroy us. The thief came to do what? Steal, kill, and destroy. We are now seeing the most vivid picture of that in humanity that we have ever seen throughout the pages of time, really. And so, so he says, Son of the Most High. You are the Son of God, the Son of the Most High God. They know who he is. Their spokesman knows who he is. Their greatest fear is to be banished to that abyss. And so they plead with him. And they see some pigs over there. And they're like, hey, how about you throw us in the pigs? Come on, come on. You just don't even like them anyway. You don't eat them. You don't want to be around them. So just throw me in there. Leave us alone. And Jesus says, okay. Now, there's a lot of things about this that we could then talk about as far as why didn't he just send them to the abyss? Why allow them? I think it's the same reason why he allowed Satan to walk around looking for someone to devour when Satan made his way up to heaven, and God said, well, have you considered my servant Job? Probably the same way that he allowed the messenger of Satan, another demon, to mess with Paul, and instead of removing that thorn in the flesh, no, I'm going to leave that there. I want you to understand that my grace is sufficient. Here's the thing. All of creation is subject to the King of Kings for him to use as he sees fit. And so, however that messes with your theology, can we at least understand that sometimes God allows the demonic realm to do things because he has a greater purpose? This one is to demonstrate his power, visibly so. Had he just commanded this man, these demons, to leave and then him fall down, we would not know this. We could assume, well, maybe he was just a crazy man. But when you hear him say and command them to go into those pigs, and 2,000 pigs squeak and oink their way all the way down that steep hillside right into the sea and drown themselves, you realize you are dealing with the man who commands not just this realm, but the entire universe is at his disposal. This is the sheer power and authority of God Most High. So Jesus allows the respect. And so what happens is the herdsmen freak out. They just lost their enterprise, right? 2,000 of their heads of money gone. They run to the village to tell them what's happening. The scripture says that when they come back, this man who has been in bondage that the whole town knows and we stay away from because he's a crazy man, you don't go near that road because he comes out and you don't know what's going to happen, is sitting clothed. Now, where'd he get the clothes? I'm assuming that either Jesus gave it to him. He probably looked at one of the apostles. Hey, man, get your coat off. What? And they're still probably hiding behind Jesus, looking over his shoulder, seeing what's going on. But the man's calm now, in his right mind, clothed, and he sits there. And the people come, and instead of celebrating the reality that the king has come, and he has destroyed the works of the devil in this crazy man, they're scared to death of the King of Kings. They're more comfortable with the demonic realm than they are with the Most High. I think that's true of the world. I think that's why the whole world wants to suppress God. If there is a God, that means something that now their life is not in their control. Right now they're under this delusion, the whole world is, that they have power and they have authority and they have ability. And we even propagate that thing. Live your best life now. Like somehow we can choose just to live any life we want, as opposed to like there's not different issues coming at us that will force us to have to make decisions that not all of us want to make. The death of someone, the loss of a business, the loss of health, all of those things. Like we can somehow command that. Listen, we don't always get to choose the life that we live. We can choose how we respond to the life we live, but you don't get to choose the life you live. Not always. In fact, in the majority part of the world, they don't. They don't get to choose. Someone else is choosing it for them. But here are these people who have just seen the Son of God, the Most High, the Son of the Most High, cast the 2,000 at least demons out of this man. They heard the herdsmen say that they watched their pigs go into the sea. And these people are more comfortable with that realm of the known as opposed to the realm of the unknown. I still can't process what's going on there. But I do know this. It was a life-changing moment for so many. And every one of the Matthew, Mark, and Luke, tell us this story. And so he wants to get in the boat with them. Hey, I'm coming with y'all, right? I mean, this is where he is. And so, but Jesus said, no. Man, you can't do that right now. And he did not let him go. But he said to him, go home to your people. Can you imagine what that looked like? How long has this man been like this? But yet, in the process of all of this, he's got family, right? He had parents at one time because he's alive. He had a mom. Where she is, we don't know. He may have had brothers and sisters. Where they are, we don't know. But Jesus says, no, I want to reconcile you with your family. I want you to go home. I want you to tell your people what's happened here. What great things the Lord has done for you and how he had mercy on you. And he went away and began to proclaim in Decapolis what great things Jesus had done, and everyone was amazed. Isn't this a great story? To me, it's the sheer power of God. If there's one story in all the scriptures that demonstrates so much of the power of God outside of the cross and the resurrection, this may be it. This or Lazarus, both of those are sheer moments of terror of how powerful God is. So listen, here's what I'm going to tell you now. There is no pit so deep that the grace and mercy of God can't get to the bottom of that, right? And as long as you have breath, you should know that freedom is at the disposal of the King of Kings. And we cry out to him and we ask him to do that. So whatever issues you've got going on today, understand there is a king, and he has authority over whatever realm is given you havoc today. And so it's great news. Lord bless you guys. Feed on this all day, and maybe we can have a conversation tomorrow, or maybe we'll keep going. I'm not sure. Lord bless you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing.